Welcome to the Great Detectives of Old Time Radio from Boise, Idaho. This is your host, Adam Graham. If you have a comment, email it to me, box13@greatdetectives.net. Check us out on Instagram, instagram.com/greatdetectives, and follow us on Twitter at Radio Detectives. Today's program is brought to you in part by the financial support of our listeners. I want to thank Jerry and R.A. for supporting us at PayPal through support.greatdetectives.net. And thank you to Nixon for becoming our latest Patreon supporter at the Shamus level of $4 or more per month. Again, thank you so much for your support. And also thanks to Adrian for increasing their level of support from the Seamus level to the Detective Sergeant level of $7.14 or more per month. Again, thank you so much for all your support. Now, it is time for us to get into this week's episode of The Man Called X. The original air date, June 29th, 1951, and the title of this one is Death and Treasury March Hand in Hand.
Now we present Herbert Marshall as The Man Called X, the Friday night feature on NBC's five-show festival of comedy, music, mystery, and drama. Brought to you by the makers of Anacin for fast relief from pain of headache, neuritis, neuralgia. And by RCA Victor, world leader in radio, first in recorded music, first in television. Herbert Marshall as The Man Called X. Wherever there is mystery, intrigue, romance, in all the strange and dangerous places of the world, there you will find The Man Called X. The startling news stunned official Washington. If true, it meant the destruction of 2 full years of top-secret diplomatic and military work, that the entire fate of Western Europe was trembling on the brink of destruction. But an hour after the discovery was made, when a telephone rang in a suite at the Hotel Vendôme in Paris, the man who answered it had no foreboding of the responsibility that was about to be his.
Hello?
That you, Thurston?
That's right. Who's there?
Slade, at the American Embassy. Can you and the chief get over here?
What's up, Slade?
Operation Zero.
We'll be right there.
But that's incredible, Slade.
Incredible or not, Chief, 2 of the boys in Washington, our #1 experts on Operation Zero, have disappeared off the face of the earth. And we've got to find them again before it's too late. Before they wind up in Moscow.
Who are they, Slade?
James Everest, David McDonald.
MacDonald?
That's right.
He's an old friend of yours, isn't he, Ken?
Yes, Chief, and there's one thing I'd bet my life on. David MacDonald's no traitor.
Well, that's not what the facts say, Thurston.
What do they say?
MacDonald and Everest left Washington en route to London. They were going to clean up the last unfinished details on Operation Zero, the Atlantic Defense Pact plans for defending Europe in the event of unprovoked aggression.
So?
So they never arrived. They left the plane at Shannon Island. Haven't been seen since.
When was that, Slade?
12 hours ago. If they're not taking the plans to Russia, we've got nothing to worry about. But if they are, well, we've got to find out.
Yeah. But how? They've got a 12-hour start. They could enter Russian territory anywhere from the Baltic to the Adriatic Sea.
I think we can narrow it down, Chief. MacDonald has a small chalet in France, at Montigny. He spends his summer vacations there.
I'm afraid your friend MacDonald's not on a vacation trip this time, Thurston.
Nor is Marshal Petrov.
Petrov? The Politburo's military commander?
Yeah. We heard yesterday that he just arrived in Berlin, remember?
Well, what's that got to do with this? With MacDonald and Everest taking the plans of Operation Zero to Moscow?
Suppose I let you know, Slade. From Montigny, France.
there.
Well, hello.
Why so surprised? You knocked, didn't you?
Yes, but I wasn't expecting to find you here, Miss...
I'm Anna Werner.
Miss Werner?
And if you weren't expecting me, then who?
Well, this chalet belongs to a man named David MacDonald, or didn't you know?
Oh, sure, but it's a cinch MacDonald wouldn't be in Montigny now.
Why not?
Do I really have to tell you, Mr. X?
Huh?
Surprise number 2?
Frankly, yes.
Well, good. It's always easier for me to work on a guy who's a little off balance.
Just what kind of work did you have in mind?
Oh, I've got lots of answers for that one. Suppose we talk them over inside, Maybe I can come up with another surprise or two.
I bet you can. Okay. What about those answers?
Well, I'm a freelance newspaper girl, and I got a tip in Paris that MacDonald might be wearing a red wolf skin under his sheep's clothing with Operation Zero in one of the pockets. So I came down here to check.
What have you found?
You? MacDonald's private hangar out at the airport, empty. That makes the tip sound 24 karat. You don't like the story,
Should I?
Well, sure, we're going to work together. And they tell me at the airport that Mac's got a 4-hour start on us. We better get going.
Not we, Miss Werner.
Oh, okay. I'll stick around for a while. I've got a hunch. I wonder.
I'll let you know.
Yes, do that little thing.
Well?
This is Mr. Pagan Zellschmidt speaking.
Oh.
I'd like to talk to Mr. Thurston, please.
Pagan.
That's right. Pagan Zellschmidt speaking. I'd like to... Oh, it's you. Hello, Mr. Thurston.
Where the devil are you? What do you want?
Boy, have I ever got hot stuff news for you, Mr. X. A real scoop on that MacDonald guy. Believe me, this'll knock your head off. Ready? Hey, what happened there, Mr. X?
Sorry, but I did promise you another surprise, didn't I?
Hey.
Mr. X.
Mr. Thurston, do you hear me? What happened? Hey, Mr. X.
Wake up, Mr. X. Please wake up. Oh, why do you have to stay subconscious like that? Wake up.
What's up, Pagan?
That's right, Mr. X. That's right. Boy, what happened to you anyways?
The girl, where is she?
A girl? You mean a girl slugged you like that?
Yes.
What was she, a female wrestler?
Oh, never mind. How'd you get here? Last thing I remember was talking to you on the phone.
Oh, that was from the airport. When I heard something funny over the telephone, I beat it right out here.
All right, Pagan. What was that red-hot news you were talking about?
The chief sent me after you with it. It's about that big-shot Russian military guy, Marshal...
Petrov?
That's him, that's right. The chief said to tell you that Petrov left Berlin on an aeroplane trip a little while ago. He didn't know where to, but it was someplace southwestern Germany.
Southwestern Germany?
That's right. I told you I had really... Does that mean something?
Could mean that MacDonald and Everest are heading for the Russian zone of Germany. And Petrov's intending to meet him.
So what? There's hundreds of miles of borders to the Russian zone. He could be meeting them anywhere.
That's right, but I have a hunch that 3 people know where he is. Know where it is. Everest, MacDonald, and a girl named Anna Werner.
Mademoiselle Werner? Oui, monsieur. The lovely mademoiselle departed from this airport in a chartered plane not 10 minutes ago.
Did she file a flight plan?
Pardon, monsieur?
Or did she tell you where she was going?
Oh, mais oui. Her destination was Le Havre.
Le Havre.
But that's not in Germany, Mr. Thurston. It's on the British Channel or something.
You sure that's where she said she was going?
Mais certainement, monsieur. I remember most distinctly. A very stubborn young lady, mademoiselle. I warned her that she could never succeed in reaching there.
Why not?
There was not enough fuel in the airplane, monsieur. That is why not.
Oh.
At the most, she could fly but 300 kilometers. But she would not listen. A most stubborn young lady. She will never arrive at Le Havre.
I see, but if you'll get me a flight map of Western Europe and a pair of dividers, I think I can show you where she will arrive. There it is, Sonneberg, Germany. The only town in the Russian zone within a radius of 300 kilometers.
And that's where you think she's going, Mr. Thurston, eh? Following those MacDonald and Everest characters?
It's the nearest Russian territory, and it's directly southwest of Berlin.
Hey, that's the direction Marshal Petrov was flying. Pretty figures, eh, Mr. X?
Worth finding out?
Huh? But we can't go flying behind iron curtains, Mr. X. They'd shoot us down like clay ducks. If you don't believe me, ask Grisha.
Who's Grisha?
A cousin of mine. He lives in Neustadt, in the American zone, right across the border from Sonnenberg.
Good. Let's pay him a visit.
Sure. Huh? What for?
Well, he's a Zellschmidt, isn't he?
So what's got that to do with it?
Pagan, don't you know you can always depend on a Zellschmidt?
Yeah.
But I'm operating a strictly legitimate business, Herr Thurston. I don't know how to smuggle people across the border into Sonnenberg.
You sure, Grisha?
I swear it by the father of my father of my father, Herr Thurston.
He's a liar, all right. That proves it.
Pagon, you wound me deeply, my beloved cousin. What I say is true. Smuggling watches, American cigarettes, coffee into Sonnenberg. I do these things, yes. But people, never.
Strictly legitimate business.
Yes,
Oh, sure.
exactly. I'm afraid there is nothing I can do for you, my friend.
Oh, too bad. I thought that this, might...
Hey, that's money you're showing.
That? Let me see. 20, 40, 50. Do you know something, Herr Thurston? I've just gone into another business, strictly illegitimate. Well, there is the farmhouse, Herr Thurston. The two men who arrived in Neustadt just before you did are in there now.
Thanks, Grisha. Wait here. Come, Pagan.
You think those two men are MacDonald and Everest?
It figures. Those pillboxes a couple of 100 yards down the road are the entrance to the Russian zone. They'll probably wait until it's dark and then make a break for it.
So why don't we call in the police or the APs or something? Hey, that car coming from the farmhouse, it's heading right
Off the
for
road,
us.
Pagan. Fast, off the road.
Hey, so what's the matter with those jokers? They tried to run us down.
Everest and MacDonald. Heading for the Russian zone. Come on. Let me have the wheel, Grisha.
But Herr
Let me have it.
What are you doing now?
I'm going to try and stop that car before it reaches the border.
But the Russian guards, Herr Thurston, they'll never allow you to do
Got
that.
to force that car off the road before they can stop us.
You know something, Mr. X? They stopped us.
Yeah, looks like MacDonald and Everest made the Russian zone. With Operation Zero.
We'll continue with The Man Called X in just a moment. Every day, you hear more and more about an incredibly fast way to relieve the pains of headache, neuritis, and neuralgia. It's Anacin, A-N-A-C-I-N. Now, the reason Anacin is so wonderfully fast-acting and effective is this. Anacin is like a doctor's prescription. That is, Anacin contains not just one, but a combination of medically proven active ingredients in easy-to-take tablet form. Thousands of people have received envelopes containing Anacin tablets from their own dentist or physician, and in this way discovered the incredibly fast relief Anacin brings from pains of headache, neuritis, or neuralgia. So the next time a headache strikes, take Anacin, A-N-A-C-I-N. Anacin in handy boxes of 12 and 30, economical family-size bottles of 50 and 100. Ask for Anacin at any drug counter. Now, Act Two of The Man Called X, starring Herbert Marshall with Leon Belasco as Pagan Zellschmidt. Two of the top men in Washington have mysteriously disappeared. Ken Thurston, the man called X, has trailed them to Neustadt, Germany, in an effort to determine if they're carrying the Atlantic Pact defense plans into the hands of the Russians. But his attempt to stop them from crossing the border has been halted by the chattering burp guns of the Russian border guards.
So they
Looks like it, Chief.
No, it's too bad. Well, there's nothing we can do about those plans now.
I'm not too sure about that.
What do you mean?
Marshal Petrov flew down to meet him, all right. Pagon's cousin, Grisha, verified that for us.
Well, what of it?
I've a hunch Petrov will fly them to his headquarters in Berlin instead of direct to Moscow. He'll want the honor of taking those plans to the Kremlin himself.
Could be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's too bad someone can't get into the Russian zone before he gets the plans from MacDonald and Everest.
I see what you mean. Of course, there's nothing we can do about it officially.
Oh, of course not, no. And with all the dope the Bureau must have on Petrov's headquarters, too.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But the fact that we know Petrov's got a secret suite on the 12th floor of the Felserhof Hotel, that isn't a bit of help to anyone under the circumstances.
Not a bit. And we probably know where to get some inside help at the Felserhof, too.
Yeah, but even if we do know that the assistant manager there, Vladimir Grigorsky, has been very helpful cooperating with G2, so what?
Yep. Well, looks like I better get back to Paris.
Looks like it, Ken.
You don't mind if I take my time, dear Chief? Look around the country a bit first?
Oh, no, not at all. No, you've got a vacation coming. Take your time. Take plenty of time.
Thanks, Chief. I will. Be seeing you.
Oh.
Hello, Miss Werner.
Oh, well, fancy meeting you here, Mr. Thurston.
How'd
and
you
in
find
a phone booth, of all things.
How did you like the eavesdropping?
Oh, it was excellent. These phone booth walls are paper thin.
Yeah.
And how lucky for you.
Is it?
Yes. You see, I am your only hope of getting to Berlin in time. Or didn't you know your plane had been sabotaged?
No, I didn't, but there'll be others.
Oh, I'm afraid not. I made it my business to be sure that no others were available.
You're a busy little bee, aren't you?
Well, that's how bees make honey. And I expect to make a good deal of honey syndicating this yarn when it's all over.
So you're still trying to play newspaper woman?
Of course.
Wasn't that tap on the head you gave me a little out of character?
Not at all. You were obviously determined not to let me go along with you, and I was just as determined to get the story. Even if I had to, what's the cliche? Go to any lengths to get it?
And you expect me to believe that, too?
I'm afraid you'll have to, Mr. X. If you expect to get to Berlin on time. Well?
Okay, Anna, let's go.
Look, Mr. X, so that cookie Anna flew us into Berlin. That don't mean we have to go into the Russian zone with her.
We're not Pagan.
Well, that's a relief.
We're going in alone.
Oh, sure, that's the ticket. We're going... Alone?
Yeah, we got some business with the assistant manager of the Felserhof Hotel. Name of Vladimir Grigorsky.
I am certain that you will find these accommodations all that you desire, comrade. However, the tenants on this floor, particularly Marshal Petrov, are very sensitive to any form of disturbance. That's why I bring you up in the service elevator. You understand, comrade?
I understand, Comrade Grigorsky.
There, I was certain that you would. So, the 12th floor. This way, please. At the far end of this corridor is Marshal Petrov's private suite. This room is one he reserves for special guests. So, now I have done all that I can do, Mr. Thurston. I believe that the American MacDonald will come to this room. But here, one can be certain of nothing. From now on, your actions must be your own responsibility.
Thanks, Grigorsky. I'll take over from here.
One more thing. What about your man, Zelschmidt? I can keep him hidden for perhaps an hour, but then the manager comes on duty.
Then an hour will have to be enough. If I'm not out of here by then, get Pagon back into the Allied zone. You'll phone what's happened to the chief.
Very well, Mr. Thurston. As you wish. I should like to say something, but what is there to say except perhaps good luck?
Hello, Mac.
Ken!
That's right.
What the devil are you doing here?
You don't need an answer to that.
You're a fool.
What about the plans for Operation Zero, Mac?
You'll never get out of here alive.
What about those plans?
Should have known you'd follow me. Ken, I haven't got him. I didn't bring him with me. I couldn't. Swallowing their lying propaganda, getting sucked into their filthy, rotten scheme.
What happened?
It's the old story. Jim Everest sold me. I was to get copies of Operation Zero, and we'd take them to the Russians. Oh, yes, I was helping to be the savior of the entire world.
What changed your mind?
Everest and a couple of his comrades. The night we were to leave Washington, they couldn't help boasting, and... Well, I guess I woke up.
Too late then, wasn't it?
Sure. If I tried to break away, they'd kill me, and Everest would still be in Washington building up another sucker. This way, at least, he's been tagged for what he is, and Operation Zero is safe.
Yeah? But what about you, Mac?
Well, what do you think? I've stalled Petrov so far, but I'm supposed to be getting the plans now. And when he learns that I haven't got them, well, it means curtains for Everest and me. But Ken, you've got to get out of here before he finds you.
Suppose we both take a crack at it. The service elevator's only a few feet down the corridor. Come on.
Ken, I tell you...
Come on.
Going somewhere, comrade.
Petrov!
If so, I would not advise it.
We'd better follow that advice, boys. Comrade Petrov's an awfully quick man on the trigger.
Well, Anna.
Another surprise, Ken?
No. You are obviously fighting a rearguard action for Everest. The only paper you could report for would be Pravda.
And quite a story it will make, too. Not only have we uncovered the traitor MacDonald, but we have captured the rarest of prizes as well. The man called X.
You haven't anyone yet, Petrov! Ken, run! Run while I...
You stupid fool. Did you actually believe that you
Let's
could...
have that gun, Petrov.
Let go!
Let's have it.
Let go! Thank you, Anna. My dear.
I told you were a fool, Ken. Look what it got you coming after me.
Oh, things aren't too tough, Mac.
Are you kidding? Me with a bullet in my side and you with your shoulder in a sling, underarm guard here at the Leninstrasse Hospital. How tough do things have to get?
Grigorski knows what went on at the hotel, but you didn't have Operation Zero with you. You'll send Pagon into the Allied zone with the news.
Okay, so you did your job. But the NKVD's going to pick us up today and take us to Moscow, and you know what that means?
They're not there yet. We've been in the hospital 24 hours. Chiefs have plenty of time to get to work on it.
Oh, sure. Sure, I suppose he's going to walk right in here and take us out. You hear that? It's the secret police. What can the chief do now?
Easy, Mac, easy.
Prisoners, we are from the NKVD. You are now in our custody. We have orders to transport you to Moscow.
Grigorski.
And look who else. Boy, I bet you're glad to see us, eh, Mr. X?
On your feet, prisoners. You have no time to waste. On your feet. Are you both able to walk, Mr. Thurston?
I'm okay. What about you, Mac?
Walk over live coals, Ken, if it meant getting out of here.
It's a cinch. We got forged secret police papers, private ambulance without waiting for downstairs. Cinch. I hope.
We shall have to hurry, Mr. Thurston. He may be discovered at any moment.
Oh, don't say things like that.
All right, let's go.
There is the ambulance now, Mr. Thurston.
Okay.
Wait. Ken, look. There, coming toward the ambulance entrance. It's Petrov.
Petrov?
What do we do?
We'll have to make a break for it. Come on.
You there! Why are you running? Stop those men. They are... Stop them!
Get in, all of you. Get in.
All right, Mr. Thurston, we are in.
Okay, here we go. How does it look back there? there?
They are still about a block behind, but gaining fast.
They'll catch us. They'll catch us.
They'll have to hurry, Pagon. There's the American zone dead ahead.
But look, wooden barricades. Armed guard. We cannot get through.
I wouldn't bet on that, Grigorski. Hang on to your hats.
We're gonna crash. We're gonna crash. Hey, what do you know? We made it.
Looks like it, Pagon.
Not all of us, Mr. Thurston.
What? MacDonald?
Yes, he.
Oh, the poor guy.
Well, at least he died with a clean conscience, which is more than you can say for some others back home.
Others?
Yeah. Traitors, saboteurs, trading in American lives. Wonder how they're going to feel when their time comes. How happy they'll be when they have to face their conscience and find it black and red.
Our star, Mr. Herbert Marshall, will return in just a moment. Here's a word from RCA Victor. If you own an RCA Victor television set, or if you're planning to buy one, the RCA Victor factory service contract is yours for the asking. You can be assured of top performance year after year from your RCA Victor receiver. And with RCA Victor's factory service contract, you get expert, prompt service, replacement of any part or tube, including the picture tube for 1 full year, and the best standard RCA antenna for your location. It's the only national service of its kind in television. A wonderful, practical buy. The RCA Victor Factory Service Contract. Attention electronic engineers. Right now, RCA has career openings for experienced engineers. If you're a qualified radio electronics engineer, RCA offers you lifelong opportunities. Just send a complete resume of your education and experience to Radio Corporation of America, Box 1, RCA Building, Radio City, New York. Your resume will be kept confidential. Now, here again is our star, Mr. Herbert Marshall.
Thanks for being with us. And my thanks to Will Wright, Mary Jane Croft, Stacey Harris, Ted Von Eltz, Harry Lang, Gerald Moore, and Stephen Garay. Next week, Algiers. The Casbah, no less, and a plot that I'd like to dare you to figure out right up to the end of the story. And I warn you, you won't get any help from Leon Belasco as Pagon Zellschmidt. So join us, won't you, when next I return as the man called X. Good night.
The Man Called X, starring Herbert Marshall, is the Friday night feature on NBC's 5-show festival of comedy, music, mystery, and drama. Brought to you by Chesterfield, always milder, better tasting, cooler smoking, plus no unpleasant aftertaste. By the makers of Anacin for fast relief from pain of headache, neuritis, neuralgia. And by RCA Victor, world leader in radio, first in recorded music, first in television. The Man Called X is a J. Richard Kennedy production with music by Milton Charles. Tonight's story was written by Sidney Marshall. All characters and incidents on this program are fictitious, and any resemblance to actual characters or incidents is purely coincidental. Be sure to hear The Magnificent Montague with Monty Woolley, formerly heard on Friday, now brought to you as a Saturday night feature of NBC's All-Star Festival. And until next week, same time and same station, this is Jack Latham saying good night for The Man Called X. William Bendick stars in The Life of Riley. Enjoy it on NBC.
Welcome back. So, a few things to talk about on this episode. I've listened ahead because I'm, recording ahead for some time off that I'll be taking from actively recording. And so I've heard some of these episodes with the heavy use of the organ, which I think is fine. I know some people will not like it, but I think this is the first in the standard order I've heard where we've had this really heavy organ music to emphasize the action. And I have to say that the action in this story is just fantastic. I mean, you have so many scenes and locations, and all these characters who are brought in, it feels like it was longer than it was. And I mean that in the best way possible. There's just so much action packed into this half-hour episode. I love their conversation with Pagon's cousin, and how Pagon, essentially when his cousin went into the father of my father's thing, Pagon's like, so you're lying. That's what you're telling me. I did like the presence of the lady who was pretending to be a reporter. I think it was clear that she was more than a reporter, just the lengths she went to. But it was really unclear what her angle was. And I like the way that it turned out that the Kremlin really likes the idea of being able to capture the man called X. And that would be a prize. And that's the first time that that's really been a plot point. But I think it makes a whole lot of sense. As we talked about before in the episode where we went, where I kind of discussed my thoughts on his identity, Kremlin probably doesn't want every freelance person they work with to know who Thurston is for fear of things going badly or somehow provoking the incident. But if you've got someone who knows what they're doing, he would be such a prize to have and to be able to take back as a trophy and to use for all their own purposes. So this had some clever ideas behind it. And I also did appreciate the different relationship that Ken had with the person who he was hunting down, because he was his friend and he hadn't really turned bad, but he had been deceived. And this plays into a sort of element that was of something that was going on during the Cold War. You had peace organizations, and certainly not all peace organizations, but there were, as we talked about in another episode, peace organizations that were really fronts for the Soviet Union. And so they would, really sell a line to well-meaning Americans, particularly folks who were rightly disappointed that the end result of World War II and all the sacrifices that the country had gone through was not really peace, but a Cold War with nuclear war hanging over people's head. And there was this thought that you needed to bring the United States to really want and seek long-term peace with the Soviet Union if you were able to weaken the American position enough. And this was the selling point that they eventually got to when they were trying to compromise Americans who had access to this information, that once you got to that point where Americans is weakened and the Soviets are stronger, it'll create the right balance of power, it'll bring people to the table, and it will get us past this whole possibility of war so that we can have coexistence. That sort of sales pitch, which apparently Ken's friend fell for, but then thought better of. And I think Ken never stops trying to save him and get him out until it's, really too late and he's killed. I think the episode has some sympathy for him, but at the same time, it's kind of a cautionary tale of don't fall for this sort of thing. Be wary of this sort of propaganda effort. Well, now we turn to listener comments and feedback, and we've got a comment from Joey regarding our Man Called X Christmas special. It was a little preachy, but still very relevant today. Hate still has a very loud voice, especially in social media. Well, thanks so much for the comment, Joey, and I definitely agree. I think sometimes, particularly if you are approaching, whether it's an older book or an older movie or an old radio program, you've got to meet it on its own terms and accept that some of the ways that things are going to be communicated are not going to be to taste. But you can find wisdom and beauty and things that speak even to our modern world if you approach it with an open mind and an open heart. And I also think Joey's right, kind of with the application to even modern social media. Because this gets a lot of attention because, people can make a lot of noise. But you think of the people that Ken Thurston took the girl to go and see, the people who were doing, the good work, doing the hard things. Particularly think about that doctor working all day trying to cure cancer. There's certainly so many people in, doctors and research fields. A lot of these people don't have time for a robust social media presence. If you are spending 70 hours a week working with boys and girls clubs or rescue missions, you don't have time to be going bad-mouthing people on social media. That's not what you're doing. But so much of the good that goes on in the world is very quiet and gets missed, particularly when the more negative and destructive elements get amplified. Well, thanks so much for the comments, Joey. Now I want to go ahead and thank our Patreon supporter of the day. Thank you to George, Patreon supporter since November of 2016, currently supporting the program at the rookie level of $2 or more per month. Again, thanks so much for your support, George. And that will do it for today. If you are enjoying this podcast, please rate and review it wherever you download your podcast from. Next week, we'll journey with the man called X to the Casbah. But coming up tomorrow, it's an episode of Philo Vance where...
Couple more ought to do it, Johnny.
Right, Frank.
I'll take it from here. You just stand by.
Check. That did it. She's starting to splinter.
Out of the way, everybody. Timber!
Yeah, that's that. In an hour, she'll be hauled down to the stream and be on her way to the mill. I'll get down there this afternoon and look things over. Haven't been down there this week.
Don't let the boss find that out. Like as not, he won't like it.
Bill Avery? I don't think I care whether he likes it or not.
Hey there, you two.
Speak of the devil, you can talk to Bill if you like. He makes me sick. Got some checking to do, Bill. I'll get to you later.
I'm just as glad Johnny left, Frank. Don't think he likes me.
Like as not, he don't.
Well, I'm not very worried. Want to talk to you anyhow.
Not right now, Bill. I got lumber to look at.
Do it later. Anybody wants to know why you're not working, tell him boss wanted to talk to you. I am the boss, remember, Frankie.
You never were one to let anyone forget it. Don't it bother you none that I got this here axe in my hand?
You wouldn't do anything about me, Frankie. You were going to do something. You'd have done it a couple years ago when I took over this mill.
Like as not, you're right. Only don't get no ideas that I forget things.
Like the fact that this mill was your dad's till I produced a deed to it after he died? I bought the mill and all this ground in Northville from him just for his death. And you know it.
Do I? I'm glad you told me.
Well, there goes another one. I get a swell feeling when a big one like that gets cut down and crashes.
I know what you mean. Like as not, I'd get the same kind of feeling if a big one like you was cut down and crashed, too.
I hope you'll be with us then. In the meantime, do send your comments to box13 at greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter at Radio Detectives. And check us out on Instagram, instagram.com/greatdetectives. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off.